sometimes you'll need to insert a table and the values inside it. So what you need is the general tag, which is table, and within this tag you're going to have the everything else. And then what you do is you start by creating a line, table row, sorry. Gonna close it, and within each row you have to create a cell. So there you go, you've got one row that begins here. This row is separated into two cells. Then you've got the end of the row. Then you've got the table. So if you want to write something in this cell, you're going to do it within the tag. So I'm going to 1 and then 2. Save. Then 1 and 2. We cannot see the borders yet. And then you can have another line, create another row, sorry, tr, do the same thing again. Save 1 and 2, or we can see 3 and 4. So there you go. If you want to see the borders, the margins, you have the attribute border. So you've got the tag, table, space, and then border equals, and within double quotes, in double quotes you've got from 1 to I don't know how much, let's say 1, which is the thinner line, the thinnest you can have, then 2, and you've got this, if you're going to do something like 4, save, something like this. You can create as many rows as you need. The problem is when you're trying to create one row with one cell and another row with two cells within the same table. The table tag needs for each row to have the same number of cells. If you want to merge two cells into one, you have to use a specific tag. So just omitting one of the two cells here is not going to, the browser not going to understand that this is supposed to take the whole row. So if I do something like this, it doesn't work. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to see here, so cell span. So instead of writing tr and then td once, I'm going to use this, called span, span of columns. Is an attribute, so td and then call span equals 2. That means that this cell is going to take as much space as two cells. Save, and then go back here and see this. So there you go. Same thing for rows. We can see here, here you've got telephone, and then the TD. So if we need to do, let's go back to the original. You had the TD 2. So if you want the 1, if you want the 1 and the 3 to be merged into one cell, what we can do is not use the 3, so the third cell, so the first one of this second row, and do this, and row span equals 2. Then to this. So if you count, you've got one cell that counts for 2, and then you've got another one, third, and another one, fourth. So it always has to be symmetric. Now, apart from these very basic table tags, you've got some more, so you can find them here. So we've seen this. TH is table header. So for example, imagine you've got a database with clients, and you've got the first go here, go something like this. First name Bill Campton, and then go another row, something like Cosby or whatever. You've got something like this. It is obvious that the first row does not have the same function as the other rows, and you want to format it later differently than the others, but semantically it's not the same thing. So what you can do, instead of having TD first name and TD last name, you can use the TH, which is a header, but it's always a cell. By default, THs are formatted in bold, but it doesn't matter for the time being. So you've got something like this, which is completely different. Then again, you can have something more interesting. Amount to let's say you've got something like this. If you want, you can have a group of cells. So this is the headers. Okay, the first row means something. It's the name of each column. And then you want something here, for example, the sum or something, a table foot. So you can come here and see table body and table head. So you can separate your table in 3 parts or less, it depends. You can have the T head, which is the header. We've got the T body and the T foot. So we've got here, let's find a something like this. And then you've got this sum or something. And this is the foot. So you can separate. It depends on your applications, of course. This example is it's a bit weird, of course. You can do T head. Okay. So all this information is a part of the header. And then you've got the T body, the table body, which contains information, and it contains both rows here. So it takes 1, 2. So the T body finishes here, ends here. Then you've got the T foot. So there you go. Well, the big difference is, first of all, you've got the formatting, difference in formatting, because you see that the T head from the T body, the space in between is bigger, is greater. The same thing for T foot and T body. So you can format differently in order to have the bigger cell padding. Another interesting thing is when you have a website with a database and you've got a head and a T foot, what you can do is write an application that is going to read the table, and if it finds T head, everything that is in T head is going to be ignored. Same thing for T foot. It is only going to read and store the information within the T body. So it is interesting to separate semantically the three separate entities in your table. So it always depends on what you want to do, because if you don't separate and you have something like this continuously and you want to scan a database, well, this cell, for example, is going to be taken as the first name of somebody and the last name. So this is going to be considered as data as well. So this is going to be there's going to be someone that is called, whose first name is 4 times dot, 4 dots, and then the same thing, and the amount due is 112 for this client, which is false semantically. And then if you want to calculate the sum due, this is going to be taken as a value which is not. And of course you can have a caption. You can put it, for example, after the table border. Of course I have to put something like this. Then I can have caption, client database, and it's going to appear like this. It is possible to write a P and then write the same thing as client database, and format it, and then we can format it to reduce the spacing here, and then we can center the text. The problem is that when you scan a database afterwards, this information is not going to be considered as part of the table, so we're going to have an element less because we're not going to have the description of the table. So it is quite obvious why the caption is going to be read. You can write an application for reading tables and getting the caption in order to describe the table. So now, for the time being, P and table are two different entities, so in order to put them together, you can use the caption tag. And I think this is all about tables.